Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight. Woo! Laughs and wisdom side by side. Heshy show won't be denied. Tune in live and ride the tide. Feel the rush and feel the pride. It's just enough Heshy. Wanna vote for Heshy? It's just enough Heshy. Join the crowd, it's messy.
I think we're ready to
I think we are definitely ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Just Not Heshy show. You shouldn't go see Tom with his hands like the evil professor.
It didn't matter because we were both stumped because the producer just kind of, we waited and then there we go.
I had a rough week, Tom.
You had a rough last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that.
I want to tell all of you, when you have a home and you ask somebody to take off your shoes, and I do a lot of inspections, I do take it off.
Right.
And people have leg warmers. But if you mess something up, you clean it up. I had somebody that came into our office that we help him, we do everything for him, and he filthied the place, and he left it like that for days. And then he just laughs at you, and he says, drop dead. And when you do him a favor, he's supposed to do you back a favor, and he never does it. And you know, you help, and I'm bringing this up to you because the same thing with the Republican committee. They're telling me not to cause trouble. I help the committee. I offer them offices. I bought tickets for their gala. I'm cooperative. And then what do? We have meetings that are illegal. And I don't mind it, but you know, I'm trying to be nice. I helped this guy get into office. I cooperated, and I'm letting him do whatever he wants. And when we asked him to nominate us, there's nobody else to be nominated for the Republican side. They find somebody outside of our world. And then they're going to come back to us for help.
Well,
and they think that there's no revenge. I know how to play the game. I know how to do revenge. I know how to fight my battles. But you're right. Now I have clients calling me, Heshy, we need your help, we need your advice. Without paying you, I give it to them. I said, you didn't vote for me, we voted for you. I said, come on, stop it, you're not even in my district.
Well, I know on the first part, I want to say, I hate to say, but I told you so. I told you so. I told you so.
I'm angry that you told me, and I knew you were right from the beginning, but I think that human nature, the people are good.
Now, you wanted to give them a chance.
I give them a lot of chances.
You wanted to, but when you're dealing with the devil, that's what happens with the devil. And that's what you've been dealing with.
I see a lot of people just don't care. I'm going to tell it to you.
Well, no, the person that you've been dealing with has been in this game since 1997, and that's his MO.
People's lives are not a game.
They don't care.
People's lives are not a game.
They don't care.
I go to the hospital, I visit people. I go to the nursing home, I visit people. I sit there, I smile with them, I eat with them. I bring them food. It's not a game.
I know.
People are out of their homes and they tell me my mother-in-law is upset that we have nowhere to live. And a young woman with 3 kids have nowhere to live. You know, today I was right by the hospital and I had to go in, and a guy calls me, I'm in trouble. He already went 3 other places. Mm-hmm. And he hired somebody else. And we said, Heshy, we need you. And I sat there and I told him, I get paid $700 an hour. But I give him the free time. I call him back, and then another person, and I don't mind giving them the free time. And my client says, Heshy, we have to make a living. I said, I know, but we have to help people too. It's not always about the money. But then when you help them, they don't appreciate it.
I know.
I wasn't even speaking into my mic.
Well, you're so loud that everybody heard you anyway. And I want to introduce our listeners on the radio. But first, I want to say hello to Daniel Sweet.
Oh, Danny Sweet wasn't. He had a procedure this week, and he's better. And we all wish you a
absolutely
healthy,
yes. We hope he's doing well,
and he's going to go on vacation and he's going to warm weather.
Well, today was summer-like. I was ready to bring my shorts out. I was ready to go out and just put the lounge chair up in the yard.
I had 2 scarves on.
Well, you know what? In the meantime, I want to say hello to everybody here on the Talk Line Radio Network. First of all, our flagship WSNR 620 AM, where Heshy always wishes he is, in Miami, beautiful Miami, Florida, 1640 WJP KPR AM, and also the legendary Once Upon a Time rock and roll radio station, WNEW 102.7 FM. Thank you for joining us here on the Talkline Radio. Speaking of rock and roll radio stars, I had the honor to speak with the man Carmine Appice, who was born not too far from here. He was in the bands Vanilla Fudge, I'm sure you heard of Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, and Rod Stewart. He was Rod Stewart. He played, and I interviewed him, and I just got featured in the rock site blabbermouth.net.
Rod Stewart is way out of your league. He's my time.
But I got the guy on who played the drum and wrote the song Hot Legs and all that stuff.
I want you to know, I have today's quote very serious. You know, my father was a Holocaust survivor.
Yes.
And he was telling me stories when he went back to his country, the anti-Semitism, and he told me about his trip on the boat, crossing over the ocean and coming to whatever. He went to Canada and he went to America. And when he said he became a citizen and he went through the whole thing, I mean, it's just and he came to do his fortunes and become successful in this great country of America, you know, and he sailed over here across the biggest ocean, and he said this was my happiest day when I came to America, you know, and he went through the system and he paid his taxes. And I'm going to talk about the illegal immigrants as well. Okay. The good and the bad of them. You know, I do feel bad for them. I do feel not bad for them. And I do, but you keep forgetting we've worked so hard in this country.
Yes.
But here's my quote.
All right.
And this quote is from Plato.
Okay.
How true was it when Plato said democracy never selects the best leader. It always selects the best liar. And that is why every democracy eventually fails. Democracy does not reward wisdom. It rewards perversion. The man who's who's a pervasive, who understands, we don't understand reality. Reality loses to the man who manipulates perception. The honest lose to the charming. The disciplined lose to the theatrical. Plato said the heaviest penalty for declining to rule yourself is to be ruled by someone who is inferior. It is not the moral advice. It's the law of power when competence withdraws, manipulation advances, when truth is costly, lies become efficient, when popularity determines authority. Deception becomes strategy. Democracy does not collapse from the outside. It hollows itself from within. And when the lies finally shake the system, the ending is predictable. The people do not resist tyranny. They beg for it. And this whole quote by Plato doesn't mean that democracy fails. It means that we allow it to fail. We are here to be free. We are, you know, I just want you to know something. Our nation is so different today. It's crowded. It has too much traffic, not enough housing, not enough jobs, not enough care. We are overcome. And recently our sense of national pride, you know, has shifted to nationalistic, institutionalized paranoia.
That's a big word there.
Suspicion of foreigners. Within that shift, there has been erosion of our civil rights. Our democracy has often given away to atrocity. We have systematically alienated much of the rest of the world.
Absolutely.
But all the ways that America has lost sight, it means that to be an American is weak. I understand that immigrants they have come here. It is our right to pursue happiness and freedom and to vote. The right is part of our heritage, our landscape. It is how we were born as a country and we became Americans. The dream. Now, you're going to say to me, well, the immigrants are part of our workforce. They pay taxes. Right. They do document it. And I have no problem with that. And I know there's 20 million immigrants and we can't throw them all out. Right. And what we're doing maybe is wrong, maybe is right. Right now our borders are closed. We need a better idea. I understand deportation is needed. But now the 20 million is here. And I'm not saying they have to stay, especially the violent criminals. You know, Tish now finally admitted that crime is up. 200 more police cops were sent to the Bronx.
So crime is finally I'll tell you my theory on that. It's an election year, right? Right. And that's the whole trick.
You know, Mr. Mandani has no chance for his groceries. Hochul gave him $1.7 billion for child aftercare. He has no chance of doing the buses. Now he's doing free buses for what?
And during the World Cup.
During the World Cup. Do you know how is he going to cover that?
Because he wants the taxpayer to do that.
Right.
He wants the state to cover that. That's going to be his plan.
Right.
But listen, this was so predictable because de Blasio had to go to Albany and beg for money.
But
Adams had to go beg.
Here. We make so much. And I want you to know something. Forget the billions of dollars we're losing and we're throwing away on stupid stuff. But the man and people are dying.
But it's
interesting. The homeless are dying on the street.
Absolutely. And if you want to give us a call, please do so at 646-974-1580. That is 646-974-1580. Give us a call here on the Justin F. Heshy Show with Tom and an angry bird Heshy Tischler like.
But I want to give you my joke.
All right. After what you went through the last half an hour, I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
It's good. Again, I don't really get angry. I get disappointed.
No, you've been angry the last half an hour. I mean, you definitely you could be in the wrestling ring if you want.
I was ready to hit him.
We'll get to the joke. Okay. Let's get to the joke. We don't want to say anything further.
When my little son was about 7 years old.
The one we're looking at right now?
No, he's the big one. The little son was a little goat, so I see him in the bathroom in front of the mirror, and he has a scissor in his hand. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm going to cut my hair." I says, "Do not cut your own hair." 5 minutes later, I come back and I see that he's cutting his hair. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, don't worry, it grows back."
That was a good one.
Anyways, I want to tell you this one.
Okay.
When my kids were making me crazy, and Noah's freaking out, so I said, "Listen." I said to all of them, "Listen, I need silence, and the guy who goes the longest in silence gets $5."
Okay, all right.
5 minutes pass, 10 minutes, it's quiet. 15 minutes, it's quiet, and all of a sudden, my oldest son comes to me, says, "Dad, you lost the bet. Pay us." You don't know that $5 was well worth it.
Well, there was $5 less.
I want to tell you one more funny thing.
All right.
I went shopping with Linda.
Okay.
She's on a diet, and the doctor told her she needs a healthy, balanced diet.
Okay.
So I go with her to the store, and the girl starts to buy vegetables and fruits and other things, and at the end, she buys ice cream. I said, "What are you doing?" She says, in case I get sad, I need to eat healthy and balance my diet.
Oh, well, that's, obviously a balanced style. I think the first two were good. Okay. The third one, but 2 out of 3 is not bad. To be fair, you usually give 2 jokes. You gave 3, so you were kind of pushing your luck, by the way.
Kathy Hochul came to.
And by the way, Karen's here. It's just hi, Uncle Heshy.
I love Karen.
Karen is here.
I love her. She's a very big defender of Israel.
Thank you, Karen, for being here.
Very big defender of New York City. Very big defender of our freedom of rights. Let me tell you what happened. I'm not angry with our chairman. I'm disappointed because he made deals with us, and they call these crazy meetings, even though I have nicer places. We're sitting in a house, we're having a meeting, and I'm actually witnessing. I'm on the executive committee,
right?
And we take a vote, and we win. Right? I win the vote. He says, "No, I have the proxies." He didn't even show the proxies. He just said he had them. And he's supposed to have originals. And then the people who are on the Zoom that couldn't make this little meeting, they weren't allowed to vote. And then they were allowed to vote. He cheated. Then we had a second vote. So I said to him, "Why are we even voting if you know the outcome, you're going to lose?"
Why did he hold the meeting?
He held them because he says we have to hold meetings. So I don't understand. He held a meeting in somebody's house to interview somebody. He thought nobody would come, and ended up like about 10 or 15 people came out of the 60 people committee, and the people who listened to me on the Zoom said I was right, and then at the end he got angry at me, and then he threw me off the committee. He threatened he can't just do that. Then he threw me out of the WhatsApp.
So why did he throw you off the committee?
Because he was upset, and he started to use dirty words. I said, "You can't be cursing. You're the chairman." And then he threatened us that, "Hey, we're going to get you and we're going to make sure." And now they're telling me to behave myself. I'm behaving myself.
But wasn't that the same guy that...
being the chairman, that's what was my quote.
Wasn't that... Now, what about that? You said here on a previous episode, now I'm not privy because I'm not in that party, I'm not in that committee, but I from what you had said a few weeks ago, had said that didn't they bring up an individual who had a massive criminal background to show up and run? And they wanted to throw you off the committee?
So we did. So we had to vote on this guy Rivera, who has 2 domestic violences in jail, a rap sheet bigger than your head. Okay, and he's part of the Queens and the Brooklyn committees. So we went to vote for him, and then our chairman says, well, we might as well we have nobody, let's put him up. He's the only one that wants to run. But you know how bad it looks that we are so desperate that we're willing to put on, not somebody that was convicted of a crime or white collar crime or something. This guy has a rap sheet, domestic violence. And then we all voted against him, and then he talked us into it, and then at the end we decided we're not going to vote on him, we're going to wait for the Queen's decision, and then we'll make a vote whatever Queen's does, because he has a bigger
But he was giving you a hard time when he brought up this guy from what you're saying.
We all voted against him. The vote was lost, and then he showed the proxies. He says that you have to change your mind. And then a lot of people said, okay.
So what do you think that the current guy who's in office now in the Republican Party, in his relationship with the man Kalman Yeager, what do you think his relationship is?
Kalman Yeager knocked him, and again, Kalman Yeager lost the vote. He lost against.
So what do you think then the relationship?
And what happened was he waived the proxies and he gave it to Kalman Yeager.
So why do you think then the Republican chairman, the guy that's a Republican in there now, who was a longtime non-Republican, why do you think he backed a Democrat?
So as you know, I've been talking. You know, and he told me not to talk bad about the last chairman. The last chairman was a candidate, and then all of a sudden, in his district only, did we caught them doing voter fraud, and the DA is investigating it. And 2 years before, when I won the election, there was voter fraud as well, but we never pursued it because we just didn't want to spend the money. It was the same chairman and the same trick in the same districts.
Right.
So I'm telling you now that I'm suspicious of the whole game. Our freedom to vote does not exist. We allow tyranny to take us over. We give in, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I tell people in my community, you know, you're all complaining to me about the DOB. You're complaining about the fines. You're complaining about the sanitation tickets. You're complaining about the snow. And you have nobody to represent you because the people you put in there that you think are going to be nice and quiet and not embarrass you are embarrassing you by not providing
what I'm
the services.
confused about,
19 or 20 people died on the street. Well,
absolutely.
all we have to do, and then you have a lot of people in the Bronx where they were building the soccer stadium.
Yep.
They moved into these little homeless RV sheds in the Bronx, and they're doing illegal cars fixing. They're doing illegal stuff, and now they stopped because the cops were coming around, so they do it at night.
Yeah, it's hard, but I want to go back to your situation because what I don't understand is from what you had said these last 5 months since you had been involved with them, you had offered them your office on Foster Avenue.
I set it all up for them to use.
You had gone out and said on this show you had been a loyal Republican. You wanted to support Republicans. Yeah. You had talked about the fact
I'm the only one that was there for Sliwa, and still they're talking to Ina who went against Sliwa.
So that's what I'm confused about. So this guy, right, who threw you off the committee. Now this guy
who's been me off yet. He has to vote me off.
Well, he's going to have the votes. He's going to have the votes. So he's going to throw you off because obviously.
Even though a lot of his people are not, but and I try to not make controversy. I said all I ask is for one thing: to nominate my candidate. So he's the only one in this community. It's me and him in this community. And now they're telling me that they have somebody from the state that they might.
But what I'm confused
I said, what's the name?
But here's what I'm also.
What's the name?
Right.
They don't have a name. So if you don't have a name,
we'll find that out. But what I'm confused about is why is this guy, right, the guy you're talking about now, currently as the Republican chairman, backing a Democratic district leader? What I'm trying to figure out here.
Democratic candidate.
But he's also a district leader. He's a Democratic district leader. And last year, he didn't support any Republican challenges because last night I remembered.
They even asked him now, would you just support people? He says no, and he's not. And the problem is, he votes.
He can't because.
He votes very conservative. But when he doesn't vote for us, or when our taxes go up, or he doesn't help us, he votes the stupid stuff. But the real stuff that really means for the people, he doesn't. And that's my point. And then you have a guy, Sutton, who's 78 years running on the Democratic side, and the conservatives might give him the line because
so do you think then that the guy that's trying to throw you off now, do you think that guy...
They don't want to win. They don't want to win.
I got that.
They want to just run their show and make money.
What I'm just trying to...
We have a gala event tomorrow.
Right.
And we have about 200 people paying $250 a person. Okay. And this gala event is going to cost for sure at least $100 a person. Now, what are you doing with the rest of the money? What you don't have an office, you don't have a place, you don't have this. I mean, I don't understand. And you can't get people on the ballot. Your signature teams are no good. I mean, I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm telling you the facts.
No,
people
I understand.
Don't want to hear the facts.
Well, I see.
I don't lie.
I'm with you because I know we've been fighting for years against a lot of this stuff. But here's what it comes down to. The end of the day is that they're going to go and back people because they don't know how to win.
But it's not that, but we're allowing them to be in charge when we don't stop them. You don't stop them. You don't come out to the polls. Everybody says, well, Mandani won. Mandani did not win that election. You're right, Tommy won. But he only won with what, 1 million, how many votes? 100,000? And Cuomo lost by what, 100,000 votes?
Right.
Now, 2 million people out of 8 million people voting? You deserve what you're getting. Now, I can fight them. I can fight my chairman. I can fight my committee. I want you to know, in the first 2 months of this year, I build out for my company more than I build out the whole last quarter. I mean, you're talking people are in trouble like you've never seen before. And there's nothing I can do to help them. So what do you think I'm trying. And now, people are calling me for advice. And I'm telling them, didn't I warn you about this? Didn't I tell you not to do this?
Now, you're still on this committee, right? You're an executive committee member. Now, what I'm
willing to make still peace. But the problem is the way he insulted me, the way he spoke.
But what I'm trying to figure out, because I'm confused.
By the way, there's bylaws. There's New York City code.
Right.
There's bylaws, corporate code, and they broke it all.
I'll let those laws figure itself out. But what I'm trying to I'm confused on is, what does he get out of backing potentially Sutton, right? You mentioned Sutton's name.
They're going to get a couple of pennies. They might get 1,000 donation, 500.
But what about in the other races with the other districts? So are they doing this because
they need a name on the ballot, and they want somebody that will win. But by Democrats, they automatically lose.
That doesn't make sense. So is it because they're trying to protect certain Republican elected officials? Is it because of patronage? It just, you're on that committee. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the reason is.
The way it works in these clubs and in the political game, you deal with your friends so they can.
Listen, you and I have never been on the inside like that.
Now I have helped these politicians prior. I helped them raise money. I have asked for favors for people that are in jail, people who have problems with their buildings. But again, today, these people don't care. I told one of the guys today who had a big problem, I said, cool. I said, there's nothing I could do for you. I told you a few months ago what to do. You didn't do it. I said, the only thing I can do, he says, you call the chief. Go down to the DEP. I said, it doesn't work like that. I said, first of all, my time is money, and I'm telling you, paying me will lose your money. Call your councilman. He says, no, he won't pick up the phone.
Well, now this Lincoln Gala tomorrow, are you showing up?
I have no choice. I paid money for it.
You can have a
and I'm going
it's America. You don't have to go.
I'm going to talk to Blakeman. Now, Blakeman's head guy called me today.
Right.
And I got a little angry with him because he was talking again. He says, you shouted at me. I said, I didn't shout at him. I texted him. Oh, you text too much. I texted like 7-8 lines. And I told him the deal. And he said to me, I said to him, we control Borough Park. When you're going to need us, these people who have no knowledge of Borough Park, you think you're just walking in there. We're not going to stop you. But don't think for a minute that I'm going to give you an endorsement that you're screwing us. I said, it's not even that you're screwing us, even if you do agree with us at the end. But you put us through the pain and hell that you wanted to screw us.
I think Bruce Blakeman has a very uphill battle. I want to get to some people here in the chat. Jonathan Martinez is here. Thank you, Jonathan, for your support. Lisa Leto is here. How you doing, Lisa?
I love Lisa.
I love Lisa being here. Thumbs up. Infinite Justice said Heshy needs I don't even know if I got this right. A Vildahaya squad.
A wild Vildahaya is like wild.
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, I also want to say a little Rachel Bartlett. Rachel's been here. She loves being here every Wednesday.
Good girl.
So we have a lot of people here, and there's no sound on YouTube right now. So if you're out there watching us, let us know if you can hear us on YouTube.
Does the producer know about? How come every week he messes up?
Well, we want to.
We're moving to a new place next week.
Well, first, before if people can't hear us on YouTube, if you're on YouTube, let us know if you can hear us, because if you can't hear us, then that would be a problem. And Black Beauty is here. Hello, Black Beauty. But yes, please, if you're here on the YouTube chat, let us know if you can hear us, because Karen's saying she can't. Benny Kleinberger is here. How you doing, Benny?
I love Benny.
And we love everybody that's here. And if you're here, yes, we can. Lisa says she can hear you, so we're good. Karen, maybe try to turn your sound off or on. So we're good. Everything's good. Producers checked. We can hear you. Thank you, Lisa.
I don't know.
You're the best.
We always complain about
now,
you, producer.
we are out there. If you want to give us a call, it's 646-974-50. Tell us what's on your mind.
Let's get down to business.
All right.
And I'm going to tell you before my final thing. The reason I complain a lot is because I do things to fix these complaints. I had a guy told me today, Heshy, my friends are telling me just to leave it alone and let it go. And when they come back to me and the fines have tripled tripled and quadrupled, and they vacate them from the homes, and you want me to help you or help you raise money for the kid's wedding when I told you that you should be paying the fines, or pay me in advance so you don't have to pay the fines. And I have guys who call me after they're in trouble 7, 8, 10 times an hour when they should have called me originally, and I would have helped them. And it's not that I know the system. I've been doing this for, today I spoke to a guy that's helping somebody that's in big trouble.
Okay.
And I came and I called him up and I said, listen, I know the guys who are causing you the trouble. Let me come to the meeting. Let's set up a meeting. I know this guy for over 50 years. And the guy who's helping these guys, the other lawyer, says, I know them also for 50 years.
Right.
And we had a meeting. We sat down as grown men and we made these two neighbors. We're hoping to make peace. It looks like it's going to work out. But my point is we've been doing this a long time. You ask for the proper advice. You go to the proper lawyer. You go to the proper store to buy your stuff. You go to the doctor when you're not feeling well. Don't try to gamble and tell me, the cancer spread. You should have gone there. You should go for checkups. There's no reason not to do that,
People make their own decisions.
Yeah.
You can't.
Look at Mandani.
All right.
All the landlords are coming over to me. Now Mandani has a new thing. Listen to this. He's inviting New Yorkers to join a first ever rental rip-off hearing in all 5 boroughs. That means
what's that mean?
We all have to file DHCR rules to keep track of our rents. All the landlords above 6 families. We have to rent it in a simple place. Nobody's being ripped off. Our taxes are going up. Our heating bills are going up. Our cleaning bills are going
you got
up.
the heating bills this winter?
Yeah, my electric bill has tripled. But my point is we're paying, and you're telling us we're ripping you off. You have to. You're a partner in this building. We're giving you a place to live. Otherwise, we can live in the whole building ourselves.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's what it's coming to. If you really think about it, right? If you're a property owner in New York City, it's almost as if get the hell out.
You have to find the right tenants. You have to be friendly with them and give them. But they can complain about one heater not working. I have a guy that breaks up his apartment for one of my landlords, and he's been there for 5 years, and we can't get the fixing crews in there because every time the judge orders it, he says drop dead.
Okay, and Infinite Justice says the audio and video is out of sync, so I don't know what that means. But everybody else is saying they hear something. Jonathan Martinez, I'm not sure. Infinite Justice does want to say that right now it's like watching an old kung fu movie.
Oh, wow.
By the way, I got to ask you, what did you think of the Super Bowl this year? What did you think about the Super Bowl halftime shows?
I like the Super Bowl halftime shows, but the problem is...
Something tells me you didn't like this one.
This guy, Crazy Bunny, what's his name?
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, Crazy Bunny. He cursed in Spanish, and then in his songs, he told the kids to use cocaine. Now, this man is a sick man. Very sick man to what was how many hundreds of millions of people?
129 million people.
People watch the show, and he's telling the kids to use cocaine. I don't know what else to tell you.
So I guess then safe to say that you weren't dancing with the Spanish?
I was not dancing.
You weren't dancing when
No.
all the women were out there. You were just basically making sure you went. That was. But now they did say that after the halftime show ended, there was 800,000 extra people went to the toilet afterwards.
Wow.
And also, I got to say, what did you think of the game of itself?
So I liked the first half of the game. Very good defense on both sides.
Yep. Okay.
I liked that the guy kicked 5 field goals. That's a Super Bowl record.
Did you bet on the game?
So I wasn't going to bet on the game. And then my nephew, who says he's triple X, the greatest bettor in the world, genius, he never wins anything.
Right.
All of a sudden he tells me who he's betting on. I said, you know what? Everything you do, I always do the opposite, even with the stock market. And I bet against him, and I bet for Seattle, and I won $1,100.
Okay.
I never bet. This was like the first time in 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And I couldn't believe I won $1,100.
I don't bet. I've never bet once.
So what I did with the $1,100, I called up my Rabbi Fisher. I said, you won't believe I won $1,100.
Right.
So I donated $700 to him.
That's very nice of you.
And I took Linda and my son.
Did you go to Essen?
I didn't go to Essen. So we went to a place like I told you last week.
Yes.
Home, I wanted to bring it to you.
Yes.
So we went again for all-you-can-eat sushi. But this time I came an hour and a half late. Because the best stuff is at the end.
Okay.
And because you can't take the stuff home, and they were making fun of me. I tapped out last time.
I guess you did say that last week.
And I made it to the end, and they had such beautiful desserts. That was alone that was just great to make it to the end. And even then, I could barely make it to the end. I couldn't eat the last 3 or 4 pieces they served.
Well, I gotta tell you, you gave me a piece of chicken cutlet last week. Outstanding.
That was my daughter-in-law who made that.
And I gotta give her a picture.
Tischlers know how to make the
your
best
chicken. And my friend Joe said he wants to try your chicken. See, I was his
we have
house.
the best chicken cutlet in the world. The Tishlers make it. My mother was a survivor.
Well, Joe and Josh, they want it. They're watching the show right now, and I was at Joe's house on an 86-inch TV. I hope you had a bigger TV than that. He had
I
an
had a
86.
70.
Well, you should have been there at his house. But I got some comments. Also, betting is not kosher. Daniel,
betting. Who said that?
Infinite Justice.
She's right.
He's right.
He's right. I'm saying he's right. Him, Philly, just listen to me. I didn't really theoretically bet. I bet. Yeah.
I also got a good one from Daniel Sweet. Bad Bunny lost out to the Turning Point show, which was led by Kid Rock. I watched some of it on YouTube the next morning, Monday morning. It wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad, but people, they were comparing the ratings, but you can't compare. It's apples and oranges. It was the Super Bowl. It's the one event that the world watches. Whereas if you're on YouTube, you gotta go out and click on a link. You gotta find, so you can't compare. They would say, oh, he got 5 million, Bad Bunny got 100 million. Well, first of all, the fact that he got 5 million on YouTube in less than 24 hours, that's impressive in itself. Only WWE gets those numbers. And on top of it, everybody there has NBC. So you're stuck on there. Yeah. And also, I got a bunch of comments. I got to read them.
I want to tell you one more thing before you go to your comments.
Because there's some good ones.
You people think that the government is not watching you. You're a little nobody. You're hiding in your corner. I don't have my phone. They can't listen to my phone.
Hiding in the corner. That's a new one.
There was a lady kidnapped. Her name is?
Nancy Guthrie, who's related to Savannah Guthrie of the Today Show.
Of the Today Show. She was kidnapped, and I heard they gave some kind of ransom note for $6 or something.
Well, what happened with the guy?
So what happened was she has a camera that's hooked up to a Ring or something like that, that's hooked up to Google. Now, they said she didn't back up her camera or record it. They just have it there so when you come there, so there was no way to see the video. Somehow with police and things, they were able that Google somehow saved it in one of the clouds. Now, this lady did not pay for the service of saving her backup videos. She did not request them to do it, and somehow Google is still recording all of our movements, and that the government can get it at any single time. Now, I know we needed it this time so we can capture the person who kidnapped her. Mm-hmm. But the point is the government does watch us, does listen into our calls, does copy the videos the cameras that we have hooked up to our houses. They're watching everything we do. And this is wrong.
It is wrong. And also, Joe is here. Wants to say the audio and video is fine. And he says he cannot wait to try your chicken cutlets. Oh. He wants them. He's been dying for your chicken cutlets. He says he wants to go and see Uncle Heshy's house. That's what he wants.
Every year, July 4th, I make a big party. But how many people can I invite? If I win the election this year that me and Tom are going to, I'm going to make the biggest July 4th barbecue event with at least 1,000 people or more invited. Just like we do on Passover, the parties on the street that 5,000 or 10,000 come. I'm going to make my own one day.
Joe has been dying for you. He's heard about it on the shows. He wants it.
Myself.
Yeah, and that's why he wants it. He says he wants his Uncle Heshy's chicken right now. That's what he wants. He even told me, I love those chicken cutlets. I got to get to more comments. Joe was talking about this on Sunday. There's the thing called the Puppy Bowl. Daniel Sweet watched the Puppy Bowl.
What's a Puppy Bowl?
So what Joe had explained was there's like these puppies that they either have some issue and they're trying to get them adopted. So it's one of those things. Oh, God. And
Can I get it? So you mean I could get a puppy?
You could, yeah. That's the whole thing.
I always wanted a puppy. Now that I don't have children, I can have a puppy. But I have to walk the puppy every day?
I mean, well, if you have a dog, what do you expect? I know you have somebody you hear that caused you some problems with the cement. You might have to go figure that out first. Yeah. But also, Betty Kleinberger says, do you have to pay tax on that winning?
So I don't have to really report it because I donated
$700
$700 to the soup kitchen, and the other $4 I used it for a business dinner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to take Linda out for a business dinner to see if that she will upload my allowance.
Also, in the Torah, betting is considered theft, infinite justice.
But it wasn't betting against, but it wasn't. I think it's betting against another Jew. If you bet against a non-Jew, I think. Well,
I hope I don't run into Rabbi Horowitz.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, but
look You see, they're already ratting on me. I didn't do anything.
Listen, I'm not a rat.
How do you know Rabbi Horowitz's his name?
How do I know? He knocked on his door. Like,
Okay.
Also, there's a funny
You're a
one
bad
too.
man.
I know. Heshy has to open up his own deli and put Essen out of business.
I swear to God that about 20 years ago, I was ready to buy a deli. And Linda says, what are you going to do? You're going to run a deli? You're busy with all your life. I said, no, Linda. I'm going to open up this deli. I'm going to have a big table in the back just for myself.
Right.
And I'm not going to allow any customers in. She says, why are you going to have a deli? Because for all my friends that come, they'll pay. But I'm only going to let it open. It's really made for me because I know how to make the best food. And all the workers, you're going to lose money. I said, yeah, but I'm going to eat great. I was 400 pounds then, so I could eat my health,
Well,
But I'm thinking still one day when I open up my club, I'm going to have the best deli as well.
You very well might. And also, Lisa wants to come to New York City. She would love to go to the party. And Black Beauty's definitely, ribbing you because Heshy had a puppy named De Blasio.
I did.
And how about, and I want
it wasn't my puppy. I used him for a while, yes.
Benny has a good point, and I was really wondering what you thought about this because it was a big topic during
I'm
the
very
Super Bowl
angry with Benny
commercials.
because this week he didn't wait for me, and we go visit an old lady, and they all ran away, and nobody waited for me. I had to go visit
But
her
I really wanted to because I was at Joe's house, and a lot of the guys we were talking about, great guys all there. Most of them I knew, and it was a big topic that we were talking about. We have never really talked about this on the show. What is your thoughts on this whole AI, artificial intelligence? What is your thoughts on all this?
You know what? I like technology. When the internet first came, I remember I was computerized already in 1985.
Okay.
And I was already
So you had an IBM computer.
I had, right? And then I had the DSL already before all of you, while you were doing the dial-ups. I was hooked into the airlines when I was a travel agent. So I liked the technology. When eBay came out, people were laughing, $5 billion, $4 billion. I knew eBay was a great thing.
Yep.
I knew that the internet was free, and it should, even though Gore says he invented it, even though it's been around since the 1940s and 30s.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
So and wireless telephones, you saw it on television how the people used to walk in the war and call the main house with the wireless phones.
Yeah.
So the technology has always been here, and we are very smart at it. I like technology. I don't like that it takes away jobs from people. And the truth of the matter is, if you use technology right, you can create more jobs. You can make our lives better, food better, housing better. I don't know why electricity goes up. We can have free electricity and we rip off the people. The whole objective is not that the government should make money on this. The whole objective is to serve our people. Yeah, we all have to chip in, but if there's a way to reduce the prices and make people's lives better, that's the whole objective. It's not only making money and paying for the services. I'm not saying people should get stuff for free, but don't charge them for something that you have no right to charge them for.
Yeah, look, I think
buses you have to charge for.
You hit the nail on the
service you have to charge for.
You hit the nail on the head.
But free internet,
listen,
wireless. People are paying
nail
for radio stations. It's not fair.
No, listen, you hit the nail on the head. I do want to say hello to my buddy Anthony Finkel, who I thought I was going to meet him today, but I think one of our friends was supposed to have connected us to all hang out, but it didn't work out. But he's here now, and Anthony had a great gig earlier, which I missed because it was so cold this
never
weekend.
Invites me to
No, I didn't even go. It was so cold. He had to get his band played it when it was
played outside in the street.
No, but they played it was like 4 degrees outside.
But inside it wasn't cold.
No, but you had to travel all the way.
You said you're wearing shorts today.
Today, but not Saturday. Not Saturday. I was wearing shorts. But it's funny to me on AI because I think, like you said, that 25, 30 years ago when the internet, you talked about America Online, all that stuff. To me, that's to me what AI is right now. Right. We have a caller on the line.
But before you go, I just want to tell you one thing.
I want to get our headphones on.
I want to tell you one thing, everybody. Donald Trump that you people don't like. Okay, Donald Trump that you don't like.
Right.
And you all accuse him with the Epstein case. In 2006, he already warned the authorities that Epstein is a pig. So how are you guys saying that he did bad stuff with?
Well, we're gonna find out from this caller. So, caller, you're on the line with Tom and Heshy, and how it's on your mind. And thank you for being here.
Good evening, guys.
Oh, whoa!
I don't hear anything.
It's Anthony Fink. Yo, I heard one of our buddies was supposed to have a hangout with us, but I was totally confused. But I hope we catch up with that guy. But how you been, my brother?
I have been good. First off, I want to wish a belated happy birthday to the legend himself, Mr. Heshy Tischler.
Well, Heshy just knocked out the headset there, so we're going to have to go bring you back in.
Yeah. I don't have a headset.
Heshy's mad right now. Hold on. There we go. Okay, say that again.
I don't hear anything.
The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to wish a belated happy birthday to the legend, Heshy Tischler. I missed your birthday show, so I wanted to make sure that I still got in to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, my friend. By the way, we are going to be collecting signatures. Tom is going to help starting February, what was it, 24th, 25th?
February 24th, Heshy, we will be out in the streets.
We want, if anybody wants to come help us collect signatures for a day, a week, 2 weeks, we even paying $25 an hour. We need Republicans, of course, or notaries. You come help us collect signatures because we want to win this one. We got to win one because, aren't you? No, but you're laughing, but you people are in trouble.
You said it.
And keep putting people in that people who are dumber than us. And we're putting them in office. Don't you see how dumb they are? They're just stupid, dumb politician leaders. We allow them to lead us, and we're following dumbbells.
So what's on your mind, Big Fink?
That's exactly what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the blizzard that we had 2 weeks ago.
I warned you, Anthony. I warned you that he was going to mess it up. I told you he doesn't care about us.
This man is a total zero. In my book, he got an F for the snow. And I'm curious to hear your opinion. When do you think the honeymoon period is going to end? Because I heard there was already protesters outside Gracie Mansion.
Well, the honeymoon period ended day one. I mean, if the man wasn't, I understand President of the United States, you need 100 days. I understand when you become mayor, but this guy is a politician. He was the assemblyman that never showed up pretty much to the assembly. He said he was ready to rock and roll from day one. He was elected in November, so he had 2 months, and Mr. Adams wasn't running the show, so he could have just walked in there, started preparing himself, and on day one, he still doesn't have all his commissioners. Yesterday, he appointed 3 more commissioners.
Oh, what a shock.
The man didn't do his research properly. He should have been ready to go, even if he wasn't elected or during the primary season, that he should have known what teams and who he was going to pick, not start choosing and going through the lists right now. He has no honeymoon period. This is a city of 8 million people that never sleeps. It's not like a country like the federal government that does shut down, that the senators go home, that they're doing legislation. This is a city that services our people every day, from hospitals to ambulances to street closures to stores being opened up, crime. This is stuff that he has to be ready. I'm ready. I'm ready from day one.
But how could you have
always.
expected him to be ready? And that's what Fink is talking about.
I know.
Because he had no experience. He never
Forget
passed
no
3
experience,
bills.
but even if you have no experience, when you go interview for a job, you have to know what the job entails. Mr. Mandani had no idea what this job entails. He still doesn't know what this job entails.
He's never going to. That's his point.
Right.
Gimme. But
he just says, gimme.
And Anthony, we got to give Anthony a big shout out. DPH Property Maintenance Service. You got to go out and check them out. DPH Property Services are on Instagram, Facebook. Definitely check them out. But, he makes
I also want to tell you about the restaurant I went to yesterday called Como, the sushi place. It's on Avenue M and East 17th Street. And the reason I'm bringing it up, not because they're paying me, it's the best sushi in the entire city. I'm telling you that. And I'm a sushi man. And I was very impressed. And their program of Monday and Tuesday nights of eat all you can eat. And they keep throwing food. You don't even have to get up. They just bring it to you. One after the next. Como Restaurant, KOMO on East 17th Street and Avenue M. Wow.
By Joseph Dreamberger, by Benny's over there.
Stop, Joseph.
It's by there. What do you want people to say? They're going to see it right over there. But I think Finkel's right in the sense that it's almost 3 weeks and we still see all this snow on the ground. It's an abomination.
Cars that are still piled
and
up,
he's telling people.
And cars that are getting stuck in the ice when we have the ice melters. I've seen them.
I got to tell you, this morning, I almost broke my shoulder. You would have had no campaign.
Yeah.
Because the snow with the ice, and it's an abomination that we are 3 weeks away from that.
But they're giving tickets to all of us.
Because that's all they care about. It's all they care about is revenue raising.
Yeah. And garbage not being picked up. I mean, did you see when they stopped shoveling, did you see the garbage trucks going out? Why? The garbage truck are going to slip and thing, but the whole city was running. We were all up. All our businesses were going. We were all getting tickets. The city was our services. And I just want you to know, that's how bad this governor and Hochul and the previous governors. We had $800 million stolen from these ambulance and car service drivers because they donated to the Hochul and Cuomo campaigns. I believe there were bribes and kickbacks. And
what
now
a
we
shock.
found out
you just talked about the guy that was backing your former opponent, and then you're talking about Hochul, and we know what de Blasio's wife did with Thrive NYC. So So that's $2 billion right
I
down
want
the
to tell you
drain.
about it. It's Medicaid, transportation, and it's riddled with fraud. And they scamming. They have these seniors. They even
Right.
borrow their senior ID cards, so they're able to bill $800 million. Mr. Mandani, you want $1.7 billion? Stop this fake transportation right there alone. I bet you
He won't do it.
$400 million of those
He's not
dollars
gonna
could
do
have
it.
been saved.
He's not going to do it.
Because he's an incompetent. He doesn't know how to add even.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem was he don't get me wrong, he's in his marketing and his campaigning, very charismatic guy.
No, he has a
Young guy,
great smile, and he knows.
different.
But didn't you hear what my opening line?
No
that
work experience,
right? But
no
but my
professional
opening line.
experience.
But Anthony, my opening line to this show was that we fall for the people who know how to speak well. We fall for the people who use these tactical versions against us instead of using common sense. And yes, Mandani, when you see him speaking, every time he speaks on the stand, he doesn't speak. He always has that smile, and it really melts
Now,
you.
speaking of people that do have smiles, I want to plug Anthony Finkel. If you have problems with the snow right now, or trash removal, and you can't count on the sanitation, DPH Property Maintenance Services, 347-228-2625. That's 347-228-2625. Your car is stuck somewhere, you need trash to be picked up, he's the guy to do it. He's in our community, he's local, he's the next neighborhood over. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally, it comes from what you do consistently. This man has been serving our community like you, Big H, for nearly 15 years. He's going to get the job done for us. So if sanitation and Memdani can't do it, Anthony Finkel, DPH Property Maintenance Service will do it and some.
Somebody texted me and said to me, Heshy, you were complaining about the 20 million illegal immigrants in the United States. What's your solution? I don't have a solution. And but I do have a solution.
Oh, you don't, but you do.
Yeah, because they are in this country.
I see.
And the problem with them is they're scared because they're not going to get their documents, so when they get vetted, they're going to be arrested. The problem is it takes years, even for people who are not in this country, to go through the system, 5, 7, 10 years to become a citizen. I know because these judges are idiots. All judges are idiots. And when I would have been mayor of this city, I would automatically tell a judge, if a case goes more than 3 months before you, you're going to be fired or you're going to lose all your services. That means you can be a judge. I can't touch you, certain judges, but I'm going to take away your parking. I'm going to take away the money that my city has to give you for protection. My city gives you for office staff. You can be a judge. Sit in your own office yourself because you're not doing anything. I was watching a congressman screaming at a judge, and he said, you have 125 motions on your desk. You're the 7th worst judge. And she said, well, I didn't know this.
You want to
number.
laugh? I think an episode of Night Court would have a better judge than
So with the
this.
20 million immigrants, what I would do is I would create a mass court thing, and I would tell everybody, listen, you come to court, you will not be touched. We are going to vet you. We're going to look at your history, and we're going to tell you, listen, here's the deal. Okay, you can go hide, you can do whatever you want, but we want to know the truth about you, and we will make you citizens of this country. But we're not going to make you citizens right away, but we'll give you your green card. But we want to know that you're paying taxes, that you're producing for this country, that you have a job, and you have to know for the next 7 years you can't use any of our services. That means if you're here or leave, we'll pay for you to leave. But we need, the whole main issue is it's not only them working here illegally and taking the jobs, but we want to know that you're not going to hurt other citizens. And I know you got here illegally, but right now the borders are closed. We can't take 20 million people and throw them out of the country, even though we don't have the resources. But we don't have, but they're here already, and that's the problem. So you want a solution? Here's my solution. Let's find all of them. Let's interview them, and the bad ones, we're going to tell them, listen, if you're bad, you better leave before you come to us because we will find you. But if you're good, we'll try to keep you here.
And I do want to point out, because we have 20 people on the YouTube right now, call DPH Property Maintenance, 347-228-2625. That's 347-228-2625. Give them a call.
Anthony, you are just a good man.
I wanted to leave one last point.
You didn't say happy birthday to Linda, by the way.
Tom,
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead. You got it.
I wanted to congratulate Tom Bryce on his success with the Rock and Roll Legends on his other program. I think it's very incredible what you're doing, and I love you guys and another
Yep.
great show.
I appreciate that.
I love
Appreciate that.
Tom.
Awesome. Just listen on. I'm going to listen on YouTube. Thank you guys.
You're the best.
Tom, yeah,
and
you're
hopefully we'll
great.
see you. Hopefully Heshy will cover us for Essence soon.
Right.
You'll cover us for Essence.
But yeah, you're great. I love Tom, by the way, and I love. I don't watch all his shows, but sometimes I see those little clips and those little tidbits, and I have a good
Well, to
laugh.
add Carmine Apiece, who's from this neighborhood, he was the guy that played for Rod Stewart, Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, and he's the guy that a lot of people say influenced Van Halen, which I'm sure you've heard of Eddie Van Halen. He has a song that basically sounded identical like Eruption from Eddie Van, the famous dan, 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 and he influenced him. And I had him on my show. People were like, well, in fact, one of your listeners, Frank Lucaselli from here, said he heard the show and he couldn't believe it. So thank you. It was actually featured in a website too. So thank you very much.
We all thought, just for your knowledge, I want to get on the subject of anti-Semitism. We thought after the Holocaust, anti-Semitism, how could it ever come back again? And it's and then you say the Jews this, the Jews that. It's not only the Jews. When you start blaming the Jews, you're blaming the blacks, you're blaming the Asians. Do you know that our Constitution, when it was written originally, it said no slavery allowed at all for the black people, for anybody. And then, of course, out of the 13 colonies, only 2 colonies voted to keep the slavery in and break up the Union. And you know which 2 colonies they were? It was Georgia, and I'm not sure which one the other.
So I got...
And because of them, they were the first ones to secede. And in 1817, just for your knowledge,
Right.
Okay, the New York State stopped and abolished slavery, but it took us 10 years to put it into effect. So my point to you is we do have common sense. When the leaders want to fight, but then again, the leaders then give in to the dumbbells, and slavery couldn't end right away.
Justice is making a point, and he says, you make a big mistake. Mamdani is criminally competent. What you're seeing is deliberate sabotage, which I had made that point. I'm glad that I got a chance to read this comment because I know I had said this before he got elected and right after. What he's doing, everything with the snow response, everything with the sanitation.
People dying on the street.
And that's his plan because
Leave them on the street. We're not going to force them.
See, Infinite Justice thinks like I think because Mamdani wants to systematically destroy the middle class because those are the people that voted against him, whether it's with Cuomo or anybody else. It's all about a white flag. This is the game that the leftists play. They've been playing the same playbook for decades. He's just recreating it, what they did in the 60s. That's his point. He is basically trying to take the middle class to force them to submit and leave, and then he takes over the property, and then he gets what he wants to do. That's their whole plan. That's why we see blue states. By the way, we're going to lose congressional districts. We're losing population because people are voting with their feet because they can't take these policies.
I don't agree this Republican and Democrat. Now, I know we had at one point a reform party that was coming about. And
they were good. They were good.
And then it just collapsed
But
on itself.
no, it's Cracamo that ruined the ballot status where you could be a minor party and didn't have to be Republican or Democrat to get your point across. And that led to the whole situation where you've got to pick between the two parties. I think if you had more parties involved, you'd have more opportunity for fusion, but instead you get the same jokesters, the same status quo, just like with what you're dealing with. The guy that right now is in charge with the Republicans in Brooklyn. He's been in this game for 30 years. You think that he's in the business to elect people? No, he's not.
But when I spoke to him, he was kind. He promised to make changes.
That's his game. He does the same thing to every person that's been involved. He does the same tricks.
Tom,
he's going to fool you. It's like the Who won't get fooled again.
Stop. I just want you to know, I felt a connection with him.
Yeah, he does that to everybody.
Okay.
But you learned. But you know what? We live and we go forward. And you know what? We move on.
And they think that I got all nervous because he insulted me or threatened me. Let me tell you something. I don't look back. I go forward. Tomorrow is another day. I want to make sure my children grow up. I want to make sure that my grandchildren are there. I want to make sure that I'm able to do good. You know, so many times I always say I'm going to retire and quit. But you know, I know
you are too legit to quit.
But I know there's a tomorrow. I know I'm needed. I know that you're needed. Every person in this, when we try to commit suicide, we arrest them and put them away. Having people sleeping on the street is like committing suicide.
I gotta say, and I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad you've come around to me, it is an absolute abomination and atrocity that so many people lost their lives because of a reckless Mamdani policy.
Right. Don't touch them. Don't bother them. Let them sleep in RVs.
They lost their lives.
Yeah.
These are people. He's supposed to be this kind, caring, compassionate fellow.
Yeah.
We had people that did not deserve to die, and they died because of it. You know what? How about the guy? Nobody talks about
crime. They all tell us every single month. Every month, you always saw the Mayor Adams and Tish. Crime is down. And I keep telling you, crime is never down.
I agree with you.
All of a sudden now, she admits that crime is up in the Bronx. It's not normal. It's not normal.
Well, I'll tell you what. I want to thank our listeners on the radio this week. WJPR in beautiful Miami, Florida, 1640 AM, WNEW, the legendary rock and roll radio station, once upon a time, 1027 FM. I'm carrying the flag for you there. And, of course, our flagship, WSNR, 620 AM. Thank you so much. And if you're out there, hit the sub button for me at Sportswire Radio 6579 on YouTube. Hit the sub button for Heshy at Just Enough Heshy 7005, and we'll see you next week.
I'm going to have a private story now for you people on...
Well, we're on YouTube. It can't be private. It's live.
Instagram, Facebook. I'm going to give you a story that I want to make you a little
And Karen's
happier.
going to be at the gala tomorrow.
Okay, good. Karen, come over to me. And
Karen, sit with Heshy and be there at the table.
Give me a big hug. Karen, and the rest of you, I want to tell you a story. There was a very holy man called Rabbi Kalbach.
Okay.
They called him the singing rabbi. And in the 1970s and 80s, where I met him in the late 80s, he worked for me one year in one of my hotels. He traveled all over the country. And a lot of these airline pilots and stewardesses knew who he was. And he was always talking to them. And he was very friendly. And he helped people with problems. But he was a modern rabbi back then. That means he was a hip. He was hip. He played the guitar. He was a hip rabbi. Everybody, when he died, the streets on the west side were packed with people.
Right.
And he always told stories. And the story that I heard from the rabbi himself is, I'm going to tell you a story because this is a story that I want to give you some inspiration that the world can be a better place. That there is a God and there is a way that we should look at the future. He was sitting on a plane and a beautiful stewardess came over to serve him. Blonde hair, blue eyes. She came over to him and she served him, and he was sitting in his first class seat. And he says to her, thank you so much. And what's your name? Karen. He says, I always know the stewardess is on the plane, whatever. And she got busy and she went back. When the seatbelt sign came off, he decided to get up and go to the bathroom. And when he walked to the back, to the place where the stewardesses sit, he just, he walked in for a second and he saw that Karen was praying with a Jewish prayer book. And he didn't think she was Jewish.
Right.
And he says, and she looked at him. She says, oh. He says, I'm so sorry to disturb you. And she says, no, Karen said to him, can I tell you a story, Rabbi? I wanted to talk to you. And the rabbi says, yes, tell me what's wrong. She says, listen, my parents are not Jewish, they're Catholic. Somehow I fell in love with the Jewish religion and I started dating Jewish boys. And I met this Jewish boy. And I'm in love with him. The problem with his parents who are not so religious, they won't allow him, even though they don't follow the Jewish way, to marry any girl that was not born a Jew. And she was sad. She says, he's scared of his parents. He loves me, but he can't marry me because the parents won't let.
Terrible.
And
By the way, if it just says the left is trying to sabotage the West.
Yeah, we know that. So, but I want to finish my story. So Karen says, Rabbi, can you call his parents and my parents?
Right.
So anyways, so the rabbi gets home to the hotel. He gets to the hotel. He gets the phone number of the boy. He calls up the boy's parents, and the father gets on the phone. He says, listen, I'm a Holocaust survivor. I might not be religious, but I went through the Holocaust, and I will not allow my son, even though I don't believe so much, to marry a girl that was not born a Jew. And he argued with him, and he screamed at the rabbi, and he hung up the phone on the rabbi. He then felt bad, and he wanted to call Karen and tell her the bad news. When he called Karen's house, the father picked up the phone, and the father heard it was the rabbi, and the father says to the rabbi, stop calling my daughter, don't mix into the thing. And the rabbi tried to explain to him, and he says, and finally, after like a half-hour talk, and the rabbi pitching to him, the old man started to cry. He says, I want you to know something, Rabbi. We were in the Holocaust, and I'm a Jew. But I didn't want my daughter and children to know about it. After all what I went through, I wanted to give up on the Jewish religion, so I made believe I was Christian. Really, we're a Jew. And that means if you're a Jew, the daughter's a Jew. And Rabbi Kavach says, oh my God, you're Jewish. She says, yes. He says, why didn't you tell her? He says, because what God did to us. He says, forgive God. So he set up a meeting between the two parents in the hotel. And Karen brought her parents and the young man brought his parents. While he was sitting there talking to Karen and the parents, the young man walked in, and all of a sudden the father of Karen jumped up and he saw the father of the young man, and he screams at the old man. He says, Herschel, I can't believe it's you. And the man of the father screams at Karen's father, Yankel, I can't believe it's you. And everybody was looking at them. He says, we were best friends before the war. And we promised when we would have children, our children would marry. I thought Yankel was dead. And the other Herschel said, Yankel said, I thought Herschel was dead. And Herschel thought Yankel was dead. So I want to show you that God runs the world. He's busy at all times watching us. I don't know why things happen bad to us, like at the meetings or cursing me or threatening or coming to kill me. I know there is a reason for us to go on. Tomorrow is another day when you have a bad day, and I have many bad days. I am willing to forgive everybody, but you can't hurt others because you're in a mood or you're in a bad mood or you want to take advantage. That's why I do my volunteering, because I know it's a little harder on me, not because I have to give back.
No.
Because I want to do good, because I know that's the right thing to do and not to take the easy route out. And the rest of you, that too, all you need is an hour a day to go to the hospital, an hour a day to go to a nursing home to spend, or just go to a soup kitchen and help serve for 10 minutes or clean a table. That's all you have to do. Or go out and help a good candidate like me collect signatures. Collect 10,
we
20
certainly
signatures.
obviously want to get to that before we do have some
Our
comments.
show's over.
But I want to read them off before we go. Black Beauty said, remembers that story. Also, Jonathan Martinez wanted to say, have a good night. Lisa said, what an amazing love story. And also, Infinite Justice appreciates the comments being read. Karen loved Rabbi Callback.
Oh, right. Rabbi Kava, it was a king. Play our music. Thank you for watching our show. Thank you so much. You were great today.
It was great. It was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight.